everyone, Nicole here with the 5 Winning Wombs, and today we're going to be talking about dealing with our fertile friends and family. I was the very first person in my family to go through fertility treatment. All my family have children. All my family, as far as I know, didn't have any trouble having children. There's probably miscarriages along the way. I mean, it's very common, but it's a bit of a taboo subject, so no one really talks about it. So I don't know. If my mum had miscarriages, I wouldn't have a clue. None at all. I've got no idea. That just shows how much my mother and I have really talked about the baby subject. The most common piece of advice I did get while trying to conceive was, don't worry, you're still young. And Martin and I were 20 when we started fertility treatment, so it's only, it's to be expected that we would get that piece of advice. I mean, 20 is quite young to be going through fertility treatment, to be honest. We were very young. We met at 17 and got married at 19, and then at 20 we were like, yes, let's have a baby. And my family was, they were supportive of the fact that, yeah, that's cool, you want a baby, but they were kind of like, wow, fertility treatment, really serious. Yeah, we were serious. So looking back, I felt really hurt by my friends and family who said, don't worry, you're still young, because when you decide that you want a baby, there's no kind of turning back. When you want a baby, it is sunk so far into the depths of your heart that you're like, I am not going to survive. I cannot live unless I get this baby. That's how I felt. Was like, that was that serious. I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to have this baby. Which is exactly why people go years and years and years and years, 10 years, 12 years trying for a baby, because once it's in your heart and you know that that's what you want, there is no getting rid of that desire. And so when people said to me, you've got plenty of time, I was like, that's not the freaking point. I want a baby now, and it's not happening. And I would really appreciate it if you would support me by not saying, don't worry, you're still young, and realise that it's what I want now. But, of course, I didn't realise that no one knew about fertility treatment. And I think this is not a problem with just me. I think this is a huge problem with all of us infertile women, is that we expect a little bit too much of our friends and family. The saying goes that you don't know unless you've been through it, and that's exactly right. Our friends and family who are fertile have never been through fertility treatment, so they have got no idea what to expect. They've got no idea of the right things to say. And I think when people say just relax, it'll happen, or you're thinking about it too much, I think that's just a reaction that people say when they don't know what to say. Like if I was talking to an infertile friend, I can actually get into an in-depth conversation with someone who's done infertility treatment, because we're on the same page. We know the same things, we know how it feels. But if I were to be completely oblivious to fertility treatment and someone said to me, we've been trying for 2 years, nothing's working, it's just killing me, I'd be like, oh, so, you're only 20. It's okay, why don't you just go have some fun? You've got plenty of time. That would be my reaction too, if I had no idea the stress, the emotional and physical stress someone goes through when going through fertility treatment. So in a way, I think we do expect a little bit too much of our friends and family when, we hope and wish that they had the right thing to say, because that's what we need emotionally, but they don't know. And so I think we do need to give them a break and not go off our nut at them. In the end, after we'd been through fertility treatment for 2 years, in the end, I would just say, yeah, I know. When someone would say, don't worry, you're still too young, my response would be, yeah, I know. Instead of the blood boiling, steam coming out my ears and getting my fist ready, I'm going to punch you out. That's what I felt like. Being honest, I'm a very sweet, innocent person, but at times I felt like really smacking someone in the face. Until, about 2 years into our fertility treatment, it was just easier to say, I know, and yep, and I'll take that into consideration, because you get a lot of advice too from people, the typical run-of-the-mill, have you put a pillow under your hips to elevate it after sex? And I actually speaking of weird advice though, because I said that I didn't have any weird advice, but I'll tell you a little story. It's not weird advice, it's pretty, you know, someone would give this quite often, but coming from my male boss, it was end of the year and my boss, his partner, me, Martin, and all the other workers and their partners, we were staying at a beach, just as an end of the year, you know, yay, it's Christmas time kind of finale. And we're all sitting around in the lounge. I'm embarrassed to even say this. We were sitting around in the lounge, and they all started talking about the fertility treatment because Martin and I, oh my goodness, we were doing Paragon at the time, and of course you get a phone call to tell you when you're going to ovulate or to take the injection, and that this is when you have to have sex. And it just so happened that that weekend that we were at the beach with all my work colleagues and my boss was the time we had to do it. You know, if we hadn't been on the treatment, we wouldn't have had sex there at this beach with all these people because, you know, time and a place, people, that is not the time or the place. But we had no choice. But our bedroom was kind of like downstairs and everyone else was kind of upstairs, so it wasn't so bad. But anyway, so they got into the conversation of fertility treatment and why I wasn't getting pregnant, and my boss, this 40-year-old male, says to me, well, do you orgasm? Oh my gosh. I'm reliving this moment now, and I'm pretty sure my face would have probably gone bright red and I would have been like, excuse me? Excuse me? You're really asking me that? And everybody's head just went whoo, and looked at me and was just like, what's she gonna say? I couldn't believe it. I was just like, and I said to my boss, I was like, don't really think this is the appropriate place to be talking about orgasms. Yeah, so that was very awkward. So yeah, that was a piece of advice I got from my boss. Was like, well, you gotta make sure you orgasm because your muscles your muscles tighten and it all gets sucked up or something. And I'm just like, oh my freaking goodness, are you serious? And everybody was looking at me and I was just like, holy cow. So to get on with it, the point I want to make in this video is that although fertility treatment is hard on us, we need to understand that unless the people we're talking to have been through it, we need to cut them a bit of slack too, because they don't understand what we're going through. They don't know the right things to say. And if they say the wrong thing, don't go apeshit at them. Give yourself a bit of time to realise that, you know, where has this bit of advice come from? It's probably come from the lack of understanding of fertility treatment, the lack of emotional understanding of what you're going through, and although it may be hard to just nod and say, yep, I understand, I think the easiest thing to say is just, yep, I'll take that into consideration, thank you. Unless you quite enjoy getting into a big long lengthy conversation like I used to. I used to have very long conversations with my friends and family about exactly what we're doing, what we did, watch this video, watch this, this is what we did. You have got no freaking idea, lady, what we have gone through. Another quick story, two of my friends, my best friends, not Stacey that you guys usually hear about, another two friends, we were sitting in church one day and we got into the conversation. I'd been through fertility treatment for about, I don't know, 18 months or something, and they were like, we just don't understand why it's affecting you so much. And I was just, oh, I was so mad, I was just so angry, and I was getting really wound up and saying, well, you don't freaking understand because you haven't gone through it. You know, that's how I was really uptight and getting at them and saying, you know, you've got no idea how I feel, so how dare you, you know, give me all this advice and tell me that I shouldn't be reacting this way, when really, looking back, I know it's because they had no idea. And one of them, I presume, is probably going to have to go through fertility treatment herself because she's got endometriosis, her periods are super irregular, super painful. Sounds really mean, but I'm kind of like, you know, if she were to go through that fertility treatment, I really want to go to her and say, see, do you know how it feels now? Which is really spiteful and horrible, and I'm not that kind of person, but it's just, that's how much it hurt. And so when people go through it, you're kind of like, yeah, now you know how it feels. just being completely honest here, you guys. Don't hate me for this, but I'm just telling you how it is. But I wouldn't wish for infertility on anyone, and it's because it can be a very, very, very stressful process. Although I really actually enjoyed mine towards the end of it. I actually really enjoy looking back on my fertility treatment and my fertility journey. But yeah, so I think we just need to maybe educate our friends and family, so then they can give us the right kind of advice, so that they're not always saying, don't worry, you're still young, just relax. Say, well, actually relaxing isn't going to work because I don't ovulate. And what actually happens is when you don't ovulate, the egg doesn't come out, can't get fertilized, and they'll probably just go. And you'll never hear them say anything again. That'll be one way to stop it all completely. Okay, so that's enough rambling, you guys. That's my little piece of advice anyways. Just take it easy on people who don't have a clue what they're talking about, because they're probably just trying to be supportive of you, but just really don't know what to say. Okay, that's it, you guys. Make sure you subscribe and check out the other videos from the other ladies. See ya.